Robert De Niro, one of the greatest actors the world cinema has ever seen. The actor who defined the term method acting in real sense. The actor who excelled in method acting, pushing its limits. No other actor has ever been able to surpass the standards that Robert De Niro has set. Method acting is an acting technique where actors strive to deeply immerse themselves in their character's persona, emotions, and motivations to create a more authentic and realistic performance. It involves drawing upon personal experiences, feelings, and physical changes to embody the role, often leading to a more emotionally expressive and engaging portrayal. There are other Hollywood actors who are known for method acting, including Daniel Day-Lewis, Marlon Brando, Jack Nicholson, Al Pacino, and Christian Bale. But Robert De Niro is definitely above all. He is the godfather of method acting. Let's have a look at the finest method acting works of De Niro's career. In the year 1980, Robert De Niro played real-life former middleweight boxing champion Jake LaMotta in the biographical sports drama Raging Bull. It was the fourth collaboration of Robert De Niro and director Martin Scorsese. To play the character of Jake LaMotta and to make it realistic on screen, Robert De Niro underwent rigorous boxing training, including sparring with LaMotta himself for several months. He even participated in 3 actual boxing matches in Brooklyn, winning 2 of them. Additionally, De Niro gained approximately 27 kilograms body weight to portray LaMotta in his later years, avoiding prosthetics to look natural. Jake LaMotta was so impressed with De Niro's boxing skills that he suggested De Niro to opt for boxing career, which De Niro declined and chose his passion of acting. Robert De Niro won his first Best Actor Oscar award for the role. He was totally into the character of LaMotta during the entire film. He was amazingly convincing as LaMotta. LaMotta was nicknamed the Bronx Bull, or Raging Bull, for his technique of constant stalking, brawling, and inside fighting. Raging Bull is considered one of the greatest Hollywood films. Amir Khan has done similar experiment with his physique in the movie Dangal, portraying Mahavir Singh Phogat. But Robert De Niro had already achieved such feat nearly 4 decades ago. The greatest mafia movie ever made, a cult movie that inspired all the mafia and gangster movies around the world, The Godfather. 2 other great Hollywood actors and method actors, Marlon Brando and Al Pacino, had acted in the film, giving their finest performances. Brando's performance as Vito Corleone, the Godfather, in the film is considered one of the best Hollywood performances. Initially, Robert De Niro had auditioned for the role of Sonny Corleone, eldest son of Vito Corleone, which went to James Caan. The sequel of the film was made because of the grandeur success of the film. In the sequel, Robert De Niro was given an opportunity to play the young Vito Corleone. The first most challenging thing for De Niro was to portray the younger version of Vito Corleone, because Marlon Brando had already made that character iconic with his performance. So to play the young Vito Corleone and to give justice to the character was itself a great challenge. To carry the husky voice and mannerisms of Brando's Corleone's younger version without making it look fake or forced was a huge task, and it was very risky. In addition to this challenge, the young Vito Corleone speaks only Sicilian language in the film. But everything is possible when it comes to Robert De Niro. To play this role, Robert De Niro studied Sicilian language and culture. He learned speaking Sicilian at a language school and privately with a linguist for several months, and he also traveled to Sicily to immerse himself in the local culture. He also meticulously studied Marlon Brando's gestures and behavior to ensure consistency with the older character. De Niro spoke only Sicilian language in the entire film. He barely spoke English. He won Oscar Award for Best Supporting Actor for the role. De Niro showed the entire world that there is no language barrier for a true artist. His acting was beyond excellence. Everyone could believe he was the young Vito Corleone.
Sì, ma io conosco lui Casino Rioco e non ci sono niente a Fanucci.
Come?
De Jordan Greek da Segunda Avenue, Frank Pignataro, 25 strade e non ci sono niente a Fanucci. Qui giù. Lasciati fare a me. I take everything.
Sei sicuro che chi suonavi per la moca?
Io penso di sì.
What's your name?
Suchowski. Hyman Suchowski.
Well, we give him a better name. Who's the greatest man to you in the whole world?
Marlon Brando and Robert De Niro are the only actors to win Oscars for playing the same character. However, Marlon Brando refused to accept his Oscar award because he was protesting the way Native Americans were portrayed in Hollywood films. The Godfather 2 is a parallel story of Al Pacino becoming the mafia boss, or the next Godfather, and Vito Corleone's life story from childhood to becoming the Godfather. The Godfather is regarded as one of the greatest and most influential films ever made, as well as a landmark of the gangster genre. Another example of De Niro's method acting is Taxi Driver, where he played the role of a taxi driver, who is an ex-Marine and Vietnam veteran, works as a taxi driver in New York City. To prepare for his role, Robert De Niro obtained a taxi driver's license and worked 15-hour shifts for a month as a taxi driver. He also studied mental illness, and during his off time he visited a U.S. Army base in northern Italy and tape-recorded conversations with Midwestern soldiers so that he could pick up their accent. He even lost 16 kilograms to further embody the character. His improvised scene and dialogue in the film, You Talking to Me, has become one of the most iconic movie scenes and quotable lines of all time.
You talking to me? You talking to me? Well, then who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me? Well, I'm the only one here.
A friend of mine was so influenced by Robert De Niro's character that he searched for a jacket similar to the one worn by De Niro, finally found it somewhere and bought it, and wore it with pride, thought himself to be Robert De Niro. Taxi Driver was the second collaboration of De Niro and Martin Scorsese. De Niro, in another collaboration with Martin Scorsese, Cape Fear, showcased his amazing dedication and method acting. In the film, Robert De Niro stars as Max Cady, a violent rapist seeking revenge against the lawyer who imprisoned him. In order to give himself a more intimidating presence, Robert De Niro worked out excessively developing a muscular physique. However, to truly convince audiences of his menacing demeanor, De Niro paid a dentist around 2 lakh rupees of that time to have his teeth sharpened instead of using prosthetics. Once production wrapped, De Niro spent another 4 lakh rupees of that time to have his teeth restored to normal. The way De Niro has acted in this film is one of the scariest psychopath characters ever. Another remarkable work by Robert De Niro is Awakenings, a 1990 American biographical drama based on Oliver Sacks's 1973 nonfiction memoir, Awakenings. De Niro played the character of a patient suffering from encephalitis lethargica or sleeping sickness. To prepare his character, De Niro spent an extended period in a real hospital studying the behavior and habits of patients who had survived the encephalitis lethargica epidemic. He focused on subtle details like the way his character spoke and moved, which were crucial for portraying the impact of the disease. The film was based on the true story of Dr. Oliver Sacks' work with patients who had been in catatonic states for years, and De Niro researched Sacks' work to understand the medical aspects of the condition. De Niro worked to convey the emotional depth of Leonard Lowe's character, who had been in a catatonic state for decades and was finally awakened. Robert De Niro's character is very touching. So is the film. Excellent movie and acting. Here are some other commendable method acting works of Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro played a self-destructive jazz saxophonist in New York, New York. He spent 3 months rigorously learning how to play the saxophone to prepare for his role. Although ultimately dubbed in post-production by Georgie Auld, De Niro's saxophone skills feel inherently natural and realistic rather than an actor simply pressing random saxophone keys. For a cameo of less than 10 minutes as Al Capone, the most notorious American gangster, in The Untouchables, De Niro fully immersed himself in the persona of Al Capone. De Niro was hired only 5 weeks prior to the film shooting. He quickly gained 14 kilograms weight, shaved part of his hair, and tracked down Capone's real-life tailors for authentic costumes, which included identical silk undergarment that Al Capone famously wore. The King of Comedy is a satirical black comedy crime thriller starring Robert De Niro as Rupert Pupkin, a struggling stand-up comedian who begins stalking his idol. De Niro spent months studying stand-up comedy, focusing on mastering the cadence and timing integral to the art form. Taking things even further, De Niro started stalking his own autograph hunters, tracking them down and asking them questions in order to understand their psychology. According to director Martin Scorsese, De Niro went as far as meeting with a longtime stalker to help dive deeper into character. Furthermore, De Niro used anti-Semitic language to assist in building on-screen tension between De Niro's Pupkin and Jerry Lewis' Jerry Langford. The Deer Hunter, the story of three friends whose lives are forever changed by the Vietnam War. In The Deer Hunter, Robert De Niro plays a steel mill worker who joins his friends in the Vietnam War. De Niro met with real-life steelworkers to capture the essence of working-class Americans. De Niro and co-star John Savage performed their own stunts during the helicopter rescue sequence, including over a dozen takes of a 30-foot drop into a river. For The Deer Hunter's infamous Russian roulette sequences, De Niro suggested putting a live round in the guns to intensify the intensity. These are some of the best examples of Robert De Niro's amazing dedication towards his craft that intensifies the true meaning and level of method acting. No other actor has pushed the limits to that extent which Robert De Niro did to immerse into his movie characters. If anyone talks about method acting, then Robert De Niro is always way ahead of others. His records are unbreakable. No one would be able to break the bar set by De Niro in method acting. He is the godfather of method acting. In the modern times, Christian Bale is such an actor who has carried forward Robert De Niro's legacy. Robert De Niro's understanding of acting is at par genius. De Niro is one of the greatest actors the world has ever seen, the greatest actor who ever landed on Earth. He can play every kind of character with great conviction and excellence. He has a deep understanding of characters and situations, and does extensive research and studies to understand his characters better. He can say a lot through his acting without saying a word. Master in silence acting.